Amazing. Thank you everyone for joining MaxWeb video podcast. If you are listening to us on Apple, Google, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast platforms, that's wonderful. But please make time to watch it again later on YouTube to see how amazing Sven looks in real life. And if you've been watching this for a while now, you know I don't like to do the introduction myself because everyone is so much better at presenting what they do and the journey. So, Sven, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Anna. So nice to be here. Thank you.
I'm incredibly honored. So, I would love for you to spend just a few minutes to tell everyone about your backstory. I know everyone knows most of it, but it would just be nice for people that are maybe new to the industry and don't know who you are.
Okay, thank you so much. So, my name is Sven Platte. I'm German Korean. I'm the founder of a platform called digistore24.com, which is basically a combination of a very powerful affiliate network and a reseller models, which means that we also do payment processing, invoicing, affiliate attribution, actually paying out the affiliate, actually automatically writing and sending the invoices, delivering the product, et cetera, which is usually digital products, memberships, ebooks, online courses, you name it. Also supplements and books, so physical stuff as well. We are currently the market leader in Europe. By far, we are also now conquering the English market and especially the US. Very happy about that. I started 10 years ago with that. Before that, I used to sell information products, courses on personal development, getting better, being more successful with relationships, weight loss, fitness, all these fun topics that really interest me personally as well. And before that, I used to be a dentist.
That's so amazing, and I'm so glad that you shared that because I wasn't sure if you're comfortable with everyone knowing your backstory. But I think it's so amazing and important for people to know that we are humans. I mean, you're such a successful entrepreneur, but you had a normal career at one point, and more than that, you were a product owner. So you're
Yeah.
not just this successful founder that really understands online business. You are actually in the shoes of someone that decided at one point to sell products online, how many of our viewers are doing. So I think it's going to be so valuable. I mean, I know it's been obviously a while since you did that, but if you were to start again your journey as a product owner, not with all the knowledge you have now, but some of it,
Mm-hmm.
what product would you would choose and what would you do better technically? Because I know your company is so good at all the technical aspects on selling stuff online.
Thank you so much. So, which year are we in? Are we in 2022 or
Let's
anywhere else?
go 2009.
2009. Okay. So, um, so, so I think if I want to create a product or a service, it has to be based on my own interest and passion.
Mm.
So basically, um, if we were to turn back the wheel, I would do exactly the same stuff, which is, you know, I was, I had a period in life where I was very interested in everything around dating psychology, and dating psychology translates very much to anything in business because business is nothing else but building relationships. Dating is nothing else but building relationships. It's really the same thing. So learning about all these social dynamics and the way of how to build and maintain and enrich a relationship has been really powerful to me in building my own personal network, my own relationships with people in general. Also understanding the sales process, it's been very valuable. So back then, the online marketing that we know now was kind of very new. It was very virgin, so to speak. So back then, Google was very unregulated when it came to ads.
Oh,
Back then, Facebook was very unregulated, so you could actually, that was a time where you could actually, you have these long form sales letters. If well written, you could make a ton of money with those things. So probably I do those. But what I would do differently
mm,
would be I would have engaged way earlier in everything around the knowledge of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these things. I am guilty of having ignored that for a very long time. I had a good reason. My reason was I wanted to be focused because I knew, I'm a very curious. I'm kind of like a child. If I'm curious about something, I just forget the time and I forget everything around me and I'm just dig deeper and deeper and
perfect.
deeper. And then I'm like, oops, I should have done some other work, you know. So
That's
I
amazing though, because we hear I've obviously we have a lot of common friends in the industry, and a lot of the super affiliates are kind of torn. There's almost like no middle ground. You either love everything from crypto to NFTs and all the beautiful new technology, or you're kind of like, you know what, we're gonna lose money. I'm just not gonna get into it. But I have to agree that is too much of a big piece of the puzzle what's going on right now. So I'm honestly, I'm not educated at all when it comes to that aspect of tech and online business. I wish I was like, our business MaxWeb is my second baby, so it requires all my attention. But
yeah.
I I'd love to see that you guys are pursuing that. If you can share anything with us about, I've seen you go to a few conferences
Mhm.
about NFTs as well. Is there anything interesting that you can share with us that obviously we wouldn't know?
So as of today, like fast forward to 2022, back from 2009 to 2022, we're in a situation where the economy is kind of crazy. We had the C crisis, and the C crisis basically made the government, all kinds of governments, to print a lot of money and inflate. Whereas at the same time, the supply of goods and services decreased because a lot of shops had to close, a lot of supply chains were broken down. So we have this decrease of services and goods while having way much more money
Mm,
amount wise. This is called inflation, and even mainstream media is admitting that we are in kind of an inflationary uh, like situation right now. So one way to escape that is obviously cryptocurrency and therefore NFTs as well.
mm,
So that's why those things are interesting, because if you make money, like every entrepreneur has this thing. Okay, so the first thing, if you make money, is obviously reinvest in your business and reinvest in yourself, like, getting better and smarter about what you do. But what if you make so much money? What if you want to actually invest in other things than your own business only? It makes sense to invest the majority of your money into your own business, but nevertheless, you also want to find other ways to, yeah, secure your wealth, basically. And here, cryptocurrencies are increasingly interesting because real estate is inflated. One part of, like, where does all the printed money go to? Actually, it goes to, first and foremost, it goes to assets, to the stock market. Like these big investment companies, like when the government prints a lot of money, they are kind of like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, they're kind of like the guys who get the most money of the freshly printed money. So stocks inflate. So we have an asset inflation regarding stocks. We have crazy high real estate prices. I think, countries like Germany have heavily inflated real estate. I think Miami as well. And that won't always go so well because the banks are in kind of a crisis. And I don't want to, spread too much panic here, but this is why crypto are interesting as an alternative to secure your wealth, because cryptocurrencies inherently are less inflated than fiat currencies. So if I had to decide keeping a lot of money between keeping a lot of money in the bank versus in cryptocurrency, I would choose cryptocurrency, and of course precious metals, and of course because of the leverage, some real estate still makes sense, but I believe that it should be a bit diversified, not too much if you know what you're doing, but a bit diversified. And that's why those things are interesting. And recently we've seen a big hype around NFTs, like a big one. Like, I have a friend who minted 10 board apes. He paid about, I don't know, maybe 3,000 US dollars for them. And now is worth like more than 7 million, like these 3,000. It's crazy. So the, the and I also honestly I bought a board ape. I also a proud ape holder, and I got airdropped, which means like a gift. This is like the term for it. I got airdropped ape coins, which is a cryptocurrency of the ape, of this ape yacht club, this organization. Um, and it was 133,000 US dollars. And now it's gone up to 188. Like yesterday I checked, the value is 188,000 US dollars. And I just, oh, you are an ape holder, so we'll give you 10,000 ape coins, and these ape coins have that value. And it's just like, and I've never seen any free money stuff like this anywhere else. So it's kind of interesting. It's just, for me, it's too interesting to ignore. If you don't, I think you don't have to understand it perfectly, but you have to put it into context, and you have to be able to make smart decisions for your business, because some of that might also in the future at some point be relevant as a means of payment. um, and you also have to be smart about your money that you make, because inflation is real and your money is losing value, your fiat money.
All right, beautiful. So I was nodding. Christina told me the sound is much better when I mute myself. So that's why I was just nodding. But let's say I want to buy an NFT tomorrow. I want to be part of the Ape Club, just like you, Sven. Where do I go? Tell me something as basic as that. I don't even know where to start.
Okay, so basically, and it's a bit complicated, just to warn you. It's a bit complicated. If you want to buy an ape, you first of all you need a MetaMask for your own wallet. You have a private wallet. It's like a virtual wallet, basically. It's an address you can send cryptocurrencies to, that is your own, that you only have the keys, and please never give out the keys, never give out the password, and never give out the seed phrase, which is a 12-word phrase that you basically need to access your wallet. And whoever has those seed words, those 12 words, is the owner of that thing. So be careful with that. Never give that out, and don't have it in digital form. So this is like the most important thing to know about it. Okay, so once you have that, it's called MetaMask wallet. To send some cryptocurrency to your MetaMask wallet, and you can do that through so-called centralized exchanges, CEXs. Of Kraken is a good recommendation. I used Bitpanda, not such a great experience, and Bittrex, Binance. These platforms do stuff like that. So you wire transfer your US dollar there, and then you can exchange it there to a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or ETH. ETH is the cryptocurrency of the Ethereum network, and those NFTs are on the Ethereum network because it has the technology to use so-called smart contracts, which is kind of like programmable automation for certain transactions, and this is what NFTs basically use. And then you can go to OpenSea. I think it's IO, and you can buy NFTs there. But you have to be very, very careful, because most of those are scams, and there's a lot of accounts that sell bored apes. identical pictures. But if you're buying from the wrong account, your money is gone, and you don't have an actual ape. You just, it's there's a lot of pitfalls, and I would really suggest, like, if you plan on doing that, like, please ask someone to help you who has experience with that and invest the money, because there's so many pitfalls. If you, for example, if you buy Bitcoin, send it to an Ethereum address, it's gone, it's lost, like, forever. And all these things, unnecessary things that don't have to happen. And so basically the way is, go to a centralized exchange US dollar for Ethereum, Ether, and then send your ETH to your wallet. And with your wallet, you have to connect it then to OpenSea, which is the platform where everybody sells and buys NFTs. And here you go. Then you can have an NFT. And in general, educate yourself first about NFTs. You can make so many stupid investments, and many, especially celebrities, they're trying to use their name to sell high-priced NFTs, like in the very beginning, but usually they drop in value. So please be careful, be curious, learn a lot about it, have patience, and know that I assume that the NFT market will also go down at some point, just like cryptos did, because cryptos did, and because NFTs are basically a derivative of cryptos. So because cryptocurrencies go down like 85% in value every few years or so, NFTs will probably too. And so you don't have to feel pressure to enter that market, but it's good to know about that stuff.
I am so glad the conversation took us in this direction. I don't know if you've watched the MaxWeb podcast before, but actually, I'm pretty strict, and I always make the speakers present this, presentations with a deck and a lot of information. And with you, I was just so certain, no matter what topic we open, I knew it was going to be very smart and informational to everyone watching. So it's brilliant. We started discussing NFTs, and I've already learned so much. Well, it's brilliant. I promise, if I decide to look into it, I will do my homework. I do think you cannot ignore it. So, as a parallel to this, do you guys have affiliates or product owners? Like, I know when we run and send traffic to your offers, well, we have an American bank account, so it's easy. What about the partners that want to get paid with crypto, or different money options? What do you guys do? Are you already doing it? Do you envision yourself and the company being able to offer it in our industry to affiliates or product owners?
Yeah, that's a very good question. At the moment, we don't offer to pay out cryptos because there's not this big of a demand. So if you're in, let's say, Web 2, you're still dealing with normal money, with fiat money, US dollars, et cetera, credit cards, PayPal, etc. Crypto is not yet really a significant means of being paid, because it's mostly used as a store of value or a speculation object. So people, affiliates are usually businesses, and businesses normally need, in order to operate, they need to pay their employees, they need to pay for ads, etc., etc. They don't do that with crypto, so it's not like really interesting for them. I think the point, if we had mass adoption, like for end customers, if they wanted to, if a big majority of them, or like, let's say just 30-40% wanted to pay in crypto and would insist on it, like if we were in El Salvador or Venezuela, that could be the case, then it would actually make sense. But before that, it doesn't really make sense, because anything that you incorporate into your platform is also needs to be maintained, makes everything more complicated. Anyone who gets onboarded working with us, has additional work. So we really have to choose like what really makes a difference. And I don't see crypto yet, unless of course you're a crypto company, to bring that much of a value for affiliates and vendors, because they got to pay their bills in US dollars and euros still.
That's such a beautiful point and smart business wise, because yes, it's innovative. It's something we want to be looking into, but you're right. I mean, even super affiliates that make 50K a day, they need to put a lot of that money back into running ads. So
Yeah,
they need the cash flow more than anything. So that makes perfect sense. But it's I am certain that if it would ever be a demand, you guys would figure it out how to make it happen for your partners.
of course.
So you were into digital products before. We've noticed a lot of the things. So we are more of a super an affiliate than anything. So we have a lot of our affiliate partners that we love, but we also love to test new traffic sources, right? So I've noticed a switch the last 2 years where it's more profitable for us to run supplements, not
Mm.
digital offers. Now, we still run a lot of digital offers. A lot of, our common friends in the space still have wonderful digital products that work. But I've seen this huge switch where people create a lot of supplements, right?
Mm.
So I want to hear your opinion on it. Do you think supplements are the ones that are going to take over and they're going to be more, profitable? Is it going to be a combination, or you envision digital products having a comeback of some sort in the near future?
Interesting question. So let me break it down a little bit. With digital products, which is purely information, specialist information, basically, you have, in my opinion, a bigger variety of potential products, potential use cases. What is really being sold on, like, if you compare that to supplements, like, I think the market is much smaller for supplements because what can you do with supplements? Usually it's for weight loss. Like, these are the most popular supplements, or for anti-aging, being a bit healthier. But um, for like really profitable online campaigns and online sales, large scale, it's quite. I think the market is a bit thinner. So you will have some big supplement players, which exist right now as well. But with information products, you can have way more variety because there's way more problems to be solved with information rather than with supplements. Because with supplements, again, in my opinion, it's mainly weight loss, and there's just also many people who can like overtake the market with weight loss. So there's a handful of people whereas with online course and stuff, there's like thousands of subjects for ebooks and online courses versus for supplements. So s- I think I think supplements are a great business to be in. I really like them because if you want to, for example, I always tell people to focus on subscription models because they give you financial stability and subscribers, like monthly subscribers. That's great. It's very hard to do with information products. It's nearly impossible to do with ebooks. It's hard to do with online memberships because you got to do new content, etc., and left and right. And at the same time, there's a lot of interesting free content like this one. So it's hard to sell information. And with supplements, it's great because if someone has a supplement subscription, then you just need to keep making the supplement as the entrepreneur, as the vendor who creates the supplement offer, and then you have just like your automated shipment, and the customer is happy because he gets the supplements, he or she, and the vendor is happy. That's pretty cool. However, at the same time, the market is much smaller and the competition is harder, in my opinion. So these are my thoughts about that.
That's brilliant and so interesting. So we used to obviously run a lot of weight loss, and as everyone knows my background is in business. So the idea was, let's not focus as much on weight loss supplements because we like to be like Switzerland. We really don't want to compete. We want to have our own path, be amazing at what we do. So long story short, we actually run a lot of supplements that are not in the weight loss space. And you are right. You are so correct. The weight loss space, it's so competitive. It offers that make those, sweet 3,000 sales every day. I get it, but it's highly competitive. Affiliates have a hard time because, you're going to have your Outbrain, your YouTube, your Facebook campaigns stolen, right? So there are many categories that I've noticed do very well lately, like nerve, osteo, back pain, vision, neck and shoulder, like the supplements that are not really in that category that you see everywhere. So I'm honestly very excited for you to hear you talk about informational products. It's no secret, Emily Lark is one of my good and dear friends, and she has a digital informational product. And it's always brilliant to see how well that product does, right? And I know there are many other people that have been considering it. So it'll be very interesting to see in the next year how many people come up with digital products. And I also wanted to ask you, like, I know a lot about the US market, but what about the European market? Do they like to focus on informational offers? Do they like to focus on supplements? Affiliates, tell me about them. Like, do they usually run email, how you see in the direct response world, or they go to Google or Facebook?
Affiliates have a big emphasis on Facebook ads, like for real. But I've seen this as well in the US market. So this counts for both European and US affiliates and products. Products are mainly digital versus physical. But there is some nice physical offers, but people are very much into selling digital information because it's kind of it's you can do a lot with that. What I see is the rise of, I would say, faces and personas and influencers. So if you really want to sell information well, like a few years ago, you could still do that anonymously. But if you want to do that successfully nowadays, you ideally have a personal brand behind it to back it up and to, let's say, create trust, because people nowadays are a little bit more skeptical. This is why also recently, like in the overall total market, if you look at it, the market went a little bit down because people are a little bit more skeptical about information, probably because they got burnt in the past, and maybe they're like also there's some type of saturation. But really the way the way of cutting through the noise is to build a personal brand, to be visible, to be touchable, and to get out there in social media, and also, of course, have the usual thing like email marketing. Still super, super big. Email marketing is still like one of the biggest ways to launch and sell products. But we used to think people need like 7 contact points with someone before they buy a product. 7 contact points meaning reading an article, reading an email, hearing about you, hearing an opinion by some other YouTube influencer, etc., etc. I think this has risen. This has risen up to probably 16, and you should be on social media in order for people to be able to have those contact points with you. And then you can still cut through the noise. And if you do your job really well, if you convince people in the free content, then you can also convince them to buy. And it's not so much about a hard sale, like with the perfect sales letter. It's more about your personal brand. It's more about your brand and if people trust you.
Amazing. Thank you. All right. So, from your expert opinion, you have a huge company, you have many brilliant people that you know and you meet at, your masterminds and conferences. What do you think is the most profitable aspect of our industry, because I see people many times. I see affiliates trying to switch and become product owners. I see product owners trying to get into media buying because the grass is always greener. I see people give up on their email list and learning how to become copywriters. I'm so curious, from where you're standing, what do you see as a very profitable job? Is it the product owner? Is it the affiliate? Is it the copywriter? Is it the investor or the founder? who
Mhm.
is the who is best?
That's a very difficult question. I have to think about that a little bit. Um, so, if I were to decide this, I can definitely say that the one who controls the product is able to make upsells even without the affiliate later. So the affiliate, you can incorporate the affiliate in, and probably they'll appreciate it in your upsells, but ultimately you don't really have to, because there is a lot of product owners who just who have built, like, for example, with digital products and their email list, a relationship with the customers, and then, for example, get them on the phone or into a webinar and make another upsell, and then make sell high price products. So there's a big trend for high price products that not always necessarily involve an affiliate. So I would say this is a pretty profitable way of making money. However, if you're really good at um, making ads and at media buying, like, for example, our friends at Kendago, if you're really good at that and specialized in that, then you can get a lot from the product owners. You can get a lot of margin from them, from their sales. So it really it's kind of like asking, like, which is the best martial art. Is boxing better, or is it like kung fu? It really, and I've really thought about that question, and I would say in general the one that has more practical real life experience is better. So what I like more about boxing is, for example, you really get punched in the face by the opponent, and you're not just doing movements in the air. So it depends on the individual. So if someone is a great entrepreneur, has like the discipline and the habits, then they can make it, or he or she can make it actually as an affiliate. And if he or she masters media buying, can totally crush it without ever having to bother creating a product. Um, Same goes for the product owner. The product owner could like create a crazy product that all the affiliates would flock to, because he's very good at branding and conversion and making offers and pricing and product market fit, and just focus on that. You can totally crush it, and you can like outperform any affiliate as well. So, I mean, ROI wise. So I think it's really about what you want to do, where you see, like, what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy more like going deep in media buying, or do you enjoy more creating great product, great brand, etc.? So that's also a factor, I think.
That's amazing.
You're muted right now. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, I'm good. I actually got a very similar question on a podcast last month. So my answer was very similar to yours. I was so curious to see what someone else would say. Honestly, it's you need to factor in one's abilities, one's
Yeah.
IQ. I talk a lot about IQ. I mean, you have people that are so kind, so on top of things. They really want to do a good job, but they simply cannot reach certain tasks because they are very complicated. And I know it's not politically correct to say, it's not, if you don't have a high IQ, it doesn't mean you are stupid. but it's going to be very difficult to do specific tasks, right? So I think it's one of the things we fail to tell others in our positions, or when we give advice to what others should do with their jobs. Some jobs will require a high IQ, others won't. So if you think you're falling in those categories, awesome, go for it. If not, you can still make a lot of money just focusing on what that specific person would be good at. So I'm very selfish right now. I have a personal question that, as a business person, I would love to know. How do you handle your time with your managers? Do you feel the need to do a lot of one-on-ones? Are you more of a coach, or do you expect people, especially you as a founder, if they report to you, they should kind of know everything and only come with solutions or general affirmations? The question comes from a place. I was at the conference, and someone on stage said, if you hire someone and they're not amazing from day two, like making your life better day two, you should really think about it. And it stuck with me because I am terrible. I was bad at letting people go. So long story short, I'm so curious on how you do it. And if you have a lot of one-on-ones, or if you learn to detach, how do you do it?
Great question. Great question. So there's a lot of levels of complexity of that problem. I would say the first thing you got to get right is to have a recruiting process that really filters out like the best people you can, so that you can so that you can actually hire the best people you can hire. And you won't be always able to hire like the most brilliant people from the get-go. Sometimes you got to build a brand first. You cannot, you know it's not that you can hire the best people from the get-go. And it's also that it's if someone can do everything, he or she might be an entrepreneur, and these are difficult people to hire. So you basically still want to have a team of people who like to be an employee and who don't have like this entrepreneur gene, because it's impossible to work with them. So this is also like a level of that that has to be taken into account when you look at that problem. But nevertheless, of course, the main question is, if you're hiring people, is this person making my life easier, or is it my life? Is he or she making my life harder in general? There is a differentiation because, of course, some things can be taught, and some things you just have to give a little bit of leeway for the person to learn. And other things should be like, the person should be resourceful enough to learn it by themselves, or to Google it by themselves. So, of course, things that they can learn by themselves, they shouldn't be bothering you too much with, in my opinion. And another thing that's very, very important is to have company values. Your company has to have values. Values are not like, for most companies, values are abstract, nice words on the wall in the hallway, but company values, I learned this from Jack Welch, are actually guidelines, like everyday guidelines for business practice. And here's some of my guidelines that help me, let's say, automate the business a little bit more. I could actually look them up, but from the top of my head, the most important one is extreme ownership. That means I learned this concept from Jocko Willink. He has a book, Extreme Ownership, how Navy SEALs lead and win. It's basically the same thing. They're trying to solve a complex task or project in a chaotic environment where people shoot at them, and so they're under stress, and those teams have to still work as a team and function like as an organism, so to speak, that's productive. So and the basic thing people have to do, they have to feel empowered and be empowered and not afraid of taking responsibility and ownership of the project, which means that they don't just look at their own task, but also they look around and see what their peers are doing, what their teammates are doing, in order to check on them and also make sure they're doing good as well and they're making progress as well. And sometimes you got to step in to help your teammate. This kind of spirit is like super important. That's extreme ownership. Next thing is learned this. The next one I learned from Tony Robbins on his business. It sounds like an advertising video, but I mean,
Of course.
I'm not, I'm not making any commissions on that. But I learned this the next. I just want to give credit to, because these aren't my own ideas. I'm just like, an average intelligent guy who just learns from other people as well that are smarter than me. So Tony Robbins, Business Mastery, can really recommend this seminar. He has this concept of clarify and verify, and it's awesome. Like, where do chains break usually? At their weakest spot. Okay, what's the weakest spot? Is like misinformation between two people or misunderstandings. If I say, hey, can you please finish that task for me? And then your definition of finish that task, or of what does it actually mean, could be different from mine. It could be very different, and we both could be right, but still the thing wasn't done. And this is where like supply chains break usually. So if you have the value of clarify and verify, if it's in your company culture, if it's ingrained in your team, if they really live by that, they will not be afraid of asking, maybe twice even, excuse me, let's just take the time for that. Did I get it right? You want me to do such and such? And then you can confirm yes or no, and if not, how, and then we can reaffirm if this was understood correctly. Because usually the sender has the duty and is obligated for the receiver to receive the right information, and then just say, oh, I told you this, but I thought you meant this or that. So it's very practical. Clarify and verify it's great. Another company value is, of course, fun. And like, if you see someone not enjoying their job, then he or she should do something else, do something differently, or leave the company. And you can say it because we have joy as a company value, and people should enjoy the work, because the work already is hard enough. The economy is hard enough. It's tough. Business is tough. So at least we have to enjoy it, and we have to be people who enjoy it. Like these are some. And if for example I see like someone hating their job, even if they're good at it, um, I would suggest them to leave the companies, because they have to enjoy it. And this is also like something that you could see coming. And then we have values like, of course, transparency and directness. I don't want to sugarcoat. I can't. I mean, you are very direct. I know that from our last conversation. And yeah, we have that as a company value. So I'm obliged to tell you the truth. And if I think your work sucks, then I'm obliged to say it. Yeah, excuse me. And vice versa, of course. If I do something wrong as a leader, then I also must know it, because otherwise how can I improve anything? So these are some of our company values, and they help you manage a lot. And then regarding one-on-ones, yes, it's important to talk to the leaders on a regular basis, on a one-on-one basis, to really know what's going on and to really create that, let's say, that trust environment. Because let's not forget, Digistore 24, maybe your company too is mainly remote, so people are not sitting in one office together. They're saying at Digistore, we are from about 40 countries. Or yeah, it's 40 countries, and I think more than 40 different languages people speak. So we're so distributed. We have to talk. So because written information is not enough. So I would talk to leaders on a regular basis and see how they're doing, and if we're all on board with the same thing, and if there's problems, then we solve them. But of course, these meetings, they have to be effective. They have to have an agenda. They have to have like, okay, an outcome. So what's the outcome of the meeting? What's the reason of that meeting? What are kind of the bullet points we need to go through? And then we must feel like, okay, this meeting was productive. And if the meeting is not productive, then we should just end it and prepare it for the next time so that it can be productive. Does that answer your question?
It does. It's so beautiful. And actually, the verifying and confirming, I didn't know that. I honestly didn't. And that's so beautiful because as I was nodding, one of my employees that does that. So whenever I send her an email, she confirms that she receives it and she is on it. So she doesn't assume that she's just going to take care of it because I emailed her. And I always love that, right? I realize
Yeah,
that I love that. And she's verifying with me, okay, I'm on this, I'm going to be doing this. And then she lets me know when it's done. And I love it. So I'm going to implement it as part of our
great.
values. I'm going to steal that from
Yeah.
you.
Make it a company culture thing. Make it a value. Make it official. Say, hey, you're invited to do so. This way we'll avoid mistakes. It will
uh,
cost a few seconds more with every meeting, for every meeting, or maybe a minute, but you'll make less mistakes.
Absolutely. I love it. And, about being direct, that's so important. I mean, I love humans inherently, and I genuinely try to be kind, but it's so important for people to be comfortable. And that's part of our values, for people to not take things personally, especially when people communicate from a place of kindness. If we are to interpret everything everyone says online, it can be such a frustrating industry if you
Yeah.
don't learn to do that. Because if you get online and an affiliate is upset about his payment, or a product owner needs help with his fulfillment, or another entrepreneur that's a friend needs help with a sponsorship, and if you're going to take everything they say personally or twist it, it's going to get very complicated quick. So being direct, I told you this before, I admire that about you. And I honestly think it's the only people that are direct and transparent are going to be the ones that are still relevant and working with us in 10 years from now. It's just the way it has to be, right, from a business perspective. So I actually took a lot of mental notes, and I'm so grateful that that I asked. It's brilliant. I mean, I know I
Thank
had
you.
no idea. 40 countries. I mean, I always think we're diverse because we have, I think, 12 or 13. So 40, amazing. So cool. So cool. I mean, that's the way of the future. Just think how.
It could be 30 and 40 languages, one of those. But
I mean,
it's
if it's over
40 and
20,
30. Yeah.
if it's over 20, I think that's impressive. And kudos to
Yeah.
you guys for looking globally. I think that's
Thank you.
beautiful. It's so cool. Well, if you don't mind, I know I said we're going to keep this to 30 or 40 minutes, but it has been so much fun. Do you mind if we take just like two, three questions
Of
from
course, it's fine. It's fine.
beautiful? Thank you. So I'm going to scroll up here. I don't know if you can see the questions too. Let's see. Sven, what's the biggest mistake you see affiliates making when they start out in this industry?
The biggest mistake basically is giving up too early. So there's so many people creating user accounts at Digistore24, and then they're messing around a little bit, and then they see, oh, actually traffic costs a bit of money, and then they give up. And because they have limited beliefs, and they don't really believe in themselves, and they don't believe in the fact that if they stay at it, then they will ultimately make it, and probably they'll have the same pattern in other areas of life as well, because everything is just long term. Nothing works short term, really. Like um even even things like weight loss or being healthier is a long term thing, and so is business, and so is being an affiliate. So the other mistake is that they don't work honestly. They don't work uh, they make false claims. That's what some do in order to help with conversion, but that backfires because then you get blocked or banned or something. That's also like, don't try to take shortcuts. Be real, be honest. I've seen a case where an affiliate kind of page for a product that was sold on our platform, and the affiliate added like a 24 hotline for customers, which wasn't there in reality. So people, their customers, they're bought assuming that there's a 24-hour hotline, which doesn't exist. So there were all refunds at the end and chargebacks. So don't do that.
I've seen it. I have the same war stories, and also when they copy things.
Yeah.
Not cool. Not a long term goal. All right, beautiful. Next one. Hey Sven, what are the main trends you can see coming in the affiliate marketing space in 2022?
So the biggest industries will still be BizOp, how to make money, weight loss, as we talked about, and of course, spirituality and dating and relationships, personal development, but also crypto stuff and NFTs. Like, this will be a big trend because a lot of people are making a lot of money in crypto and NFT, and there's economic pressure. And so there will be more people talking about that stuff. Even I started to talk about that. And and for me, it's not that easy to talk about that because I don't feel like I'm entitled to, I don't feel like being a crypto expert or whatnot, but I cannot keep my mouth shut because it's so relevant and important. We cannot ignore these things, even if we're Web 2.
Oh, I love it. All right. So, last one, and just because this one goes hand in hand with this
Mhm.
answer, do you think NFTs will transform or diversify to maintain their popularity?
I think the market of NFTs will be clean. There's a lot of shitty products that are NFTs because everyone, we call them in the NFT community, we call them cash grabs. And most NFTs, I would say 95% are just cash grabs where people are just trying to jump on the train and make money, and they will be wiped out after a while because I mean, I think it's so lame if you're trying to, if you're trying to sell an NFT and it just sits there and you're trying to sell it for 3 ETH, which equals about, I don't know, 9,000 US dollars, and and then it goes down in value. If you really want to keep an NFT valuable, you have to build a great community of collectors that value your NFTs and that would trade your NFTs that community, which is, for example, which Gary Vee is, for example, doing. So yeah, this NFT market will be very different. It will professionalize. It will be a lot more NFT creators that are way more professional, and hopefully the cash grabs and scammy ones will get demotivated. But I'm not really sure if that happens. But I think um, only the serious good ones will really remain, and the others will just feel people bad, and maybe they will earn a few thousand, but I don't think they can create a sustainable business with that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer those. And as a final act, the leitmotif of the podcast,
Mhm.
I would love for you to share something. It can be something that you do that helps you be a better entrepreneur, is something you learn and you really want to share with
Mm.
others. It can be what if the highlight of what people should be taking out of today's podcast. But I really just want you to share something that's really important to you, that you feel
Mhm.
the need to tell others from your experience, because God knows you're so successful and many aspire to be. So please share with us something that you have learned and it's really valuable.
Oh yeah, I I'm really a big fan of David Goggins and his book Can't Hurt Me. It's a story, like, he's a famous guy. It's a story of a former Navy SEAL who, without training, ran 100 miles, etc., etc. He does crazy things in order to build his character and his mind. And he inspired me to do a lot of the things I'm doing. For having more energy, I do the Wim Hof method, which is breathing exercises combined with cold water exposure. So in the mornings, you can see it on my Instagram at Sven Plattesven. You can sometimes I make photos while sitting in some lake in the winter in Switzerland and start talking just for the sake of creating content and for exercising my content muscle, basically. It's great. It gives you so much more energy, and the mindset that you learn from this book can't hurt me. So inspiring, so amazing, because we are really too soft, including myself. Like, when in the Western world, in the civilized Western world, every one of us is growing way too soft. So we're so comfortable with everything. It almost like from my it almost disgusts me how comfortable we are. I see people, being too lazy to walk so that they use these electric things to, move around, and scooters. And I'm like, how stupid is that? We have this body, and we can only maintain it if we use it. And using means not just in a comfortable way, but also in a way that brings us outside of our comfort zone. And so, and there's so many things in your business life where you need a certain mindset and a certain resilience and a certain character that you only can develop if you get some suffering, the ice bath, breathing exercises, working out so that it really hurts, etc. You need to build that character, that resilience, so that you don't break down when you have a difficult email in front of you. And you're like, oh. And I've seen it with myself. I also, like, I had times where I was too soft. Now, if the email was like, oh, too much work, I would start being tired, and I was really like, putting it off, these little things. But I noticed that, and I'm like, okay, what can I do to become tougher towards myself? Not unfriendly, but like against myself. I want to be tough because I cannot, because my desires are so stupid. I'm constantly hungry. I didn't drink enough. Oh, I need another coffee, and I have all these thoughts while trying to get work done. No, finish your fucking task. Excuse me, I'm not supposed to swear here. Sorry, I was so passionate about it. But yeah, these are some things you can do, and that really helped me become a better businessman and person.
So everyone listening or watching, when you see me next time in Cold Lake, you know who gave me the idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I've never tried it, but I'm all about trying things that go outside of my comfort zone. We need to be tougher, 100%. We're too soft. We take things personally, and it's not against kindness to be tough. That's, I think, my personal mantra. Besides leading with kindness, it's okay to be tough. It's important. We can build empires. We can help a lot of people that can help themselves financially if we learn to be tougher and not, obsess over a tone that someone had, obsess over
Yeah.
an email, over a thing someone said when they were too, tired, or even the physical stuff. I mean, how many people told me when I tried to hire them, but do I have to work 8 hours? Yes, you have to work 8 hours. If you want to make money, that's, I mean, the least you can do. So it's brilliant. Guys, you heard me rant about this before. So I promise this was not stage. Sven really thinks like that as well. Amazing. And I hope you don't mind. I want to share something with everyone that you told me when we had the
Yes,
podcast
please.
last time. Remember, you told me you force yourself to do boring things.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, what have you done lately to force yourself to do something boring? Was it a book that you didn't really enjoy?
Yeah. I read books that just have text and no illustrations and no bullet points and stuff like that. Like, so really just old school books. What I also do a lot is I go for a walk without a smartphone. This is also very important. And I try to minimize noise and distractions, anything that, like, creates unnecessary distraction, notifications. I make it a point to not, and I'm tempted, but to not like constantly check my smartphone. This is a big thing, yeah, because it's kind of boring if you don't check your smartphone. But if I see that, okay, then I intentionally don't do it. And I also, a big thing was just focus on one thing while you're doing this thing. Don't try to do multitasking. But multitasking has this for some reason this good reputation. Yeah, I'm a multitasker, I'm so good, and some people actually brag in job interviews about it. But I don't really believe in multitasking. It's our brain is not designed for it, especially if you're a man. Like women maybe, but women also, I believe, are would be more efficient if they would just bring their tasks in line and don't be distracted from other things. um so yeah, not to try to multitask makes my life a lot more boring, but I think a lot better.
I love it. I agree. Well, I actually gave up a lot of calls and meetings because I realized how unproductive they are, how they keep you hyped. So when you turn on your camera and you have a Zoom, you're more hyped than just typing or writing a process or doing something that's going to help work on the business. So I barely have any calls, and it really helped, even if it's more boring, as you said. It's, it's, we need to be bored. I mean,
Yeah,
we're making, it's like we're not supposed to be excited, because then we get the instant gratification and we're not going to appreciate the good stuff because we get them all the time. So all right, so I could go on for another hour or two, so we're just going to have to repeat the circle. With the podcast, we'll keep doing it every few months because I love it. And
yeah.
thank you again. I know how busy you are running your empire, so I appreciate you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Anna. It's really fun.
I agree. I agree. So, everyone watching, thank you again. You can listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple. You know the deal by now, but please make sure to watch on YouTube as well. Sven is amazing, and I hope you enjoy it. Leave any comments. We always like to bring in guests that will make your life easier. So, thank you everyone for watching. I love you all, and please send us as many comments as you need to for us to be able to make your life better and easier. And Sven, thank you again. You are a star, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.